I think many vegans and also other people that have like a different view than mainstream are doing wrong is to understand and to know when it makes sense to talk and when to shut up and to be conscious about that. Because when you're always like trying to break like the struggle, like a wall in a person, you know, when someone has a totally different opinion than you have, and you try to just break this, to break their like opinion and to make them, to convince them with like arguments and stuff, and to try to convince them. Yeah, I'm repeating myself quite a lot. Whatever. So it's important to be aware that sometimes it makes no sense, like absolutely no sense. It will literally not you won't be able to convince said person. And so then why try to do that when you can use your energy to convince someone that you can convince, or that you don't even have to really convince, that already is like on their own track, on their own way to like certain knowledge, to a certain truth, and then you can just like support them to achieve this point where you think they want to be, or where they really want to be, you know? Why would you bother to like try to convince people that don't want to be convinced? It's like it's totally retarded, because you're effectively not using your energy, because you're just like throwing it away. You know, it's like there is a train that is going like this direction all the time. If you're trying to all the stuff, you're throwing rocks and stuff on the trail, and so the train isn't. But the train is still going, because it might be slower, but maybe it's not even, because it's fueled by the rocks somehow, which it might be. And if you try to convince someone, maybe it's a stupid metaphor, whatever. But the thing is, why can't you just find someone and that wants to go a certain way, but there are rocks on his way, and you like help him by maybe grabbing some rocks and taking them off the trail, so that the train can go faster and more efficiently, you know? It's like so stupid that you try to use your energy to convince people that don't want to be convinced. Just convince people, just help people to go away where they want to go, you know? It's very important to think about that and to be conscious, especially when you're like, to go a bit further, when you are like, when someone is like, no, I don't think it's healthy to smoke, you know? Then for this person, when they really think this, it's the truth, you know? Even if it might not be the truth. Well, most people would agree that it's the truth to not smoke. But when we go back like 100 years, then people might not be convinced of that way, you know? And it's the same with diet today. Like, when you're like, I think this is a healthy way of eating, you know? I'm convinced about that. Then you can work with these kinds of people. But when there are people that are totally like, I know it might be healthy and stuff, but it's then it's not the truth. Even if you have like the best arguments, if the arguments don't match with the vibe of the person, you know, it sounds like fucking spiritual bullshit. But it's a good way to describe it, I think. If it doesn't really match like their way of looking at the world, then it won't work. And then why would you use your energy to present these arguments to this person if it's really a very important person to you, and you think like, maybe I can start a little bit of thinking in that person, because I really want this person to live healthier and stuff, and I want to plant some seeds, you know, that maybe a healthy tree might grow out of at some point, you know. That's so weird, whatever. But you really have to consider if this might be worth it, if you really want to use the seeds in this person, if those seeds won't even grow. So really consider where to talk, where to speak up, and where to shut up. Because it might be frustrating sometimes, but why be frustrated? Why be frustrated? Why are you frustrated when you're effectively not using your time, when you're just wasting your time by trying to convince people that don't want to be convinced of something? Don't try to convince people. Help people to find their own way, and I think that's a good way to do stuff, to deal with things, you know. be conscious about stuff. That's another topic. Another topic, to be conscious about stuff. But first, like, consider when to talk to people about, really talk to people, and when to, like, talk to people like blah blah stuff.